So I'm making little recipe cards today. This is going to be for a gift. And so I'm planning to do a little a description on the back about how to make calçots. Calçots is a spring onion that you would find in Catalonia. And people often during the fall will go to a festival for calçotadas. And calçotadas is a way to celebrate the season of calçots. So I'm just making little recipe cards for a gift. I thought it would be a cute way to instead of finding like a cookbook, which I did try to find a cookbook, I wasn't able to find one about recipes for Spain. So instead, I am making a mini cookbook by creating little recipe cards for the gift instead. So I'm using these little watercolor sheets. These are from Peerless Watercolors. And what's really nice about them is that you can cut little sections of them and just have a small amount of watercolor. You know, for something like this, like I only need a very tiny amount of watercolor. And so I really like using these for small projects. This is too much watercolor on there. Let's see. So if anybody has tried calçots, you can let me know in the comments if you've been to a calçotada or had calçots in Spain or anywhere else in the world, really. I think calçots is like a regional name for spring onions. And from my understanding, they might be very similar to leeks. But they're basically just a spring onion variety that when you grow them, you hill up the soil around the spring onions to get a very long white section of the onion. So it's just a way to get the most tender parts of a spring onion for grilling and eating. darker color here. Section is a little too dark for me, so I'm going to try to remove a little bit of it. But yeah, calçots are available in Spain between like November and I believe March. And so this is the time of year when people are going to particular restaurants that specialize in calçots and do grilling at their restaurants. So I like this. I could use a little bit. I might have to let this dry, so I could do a little bit more details. It's a little bit too wet right here for right now for me to add a little bit more detail. But what I do want to do is write the words in pen. I have to decide what size. That is too big. Let's see if this is the size that I want. That's pretty good. Might be a little too thin. I might want a little to be a little bit bigger, but we'll start here. And maybe at the end, I might add a little bit more detail with pen to define these. I'm going to put this off to the side for a minute. I'll get our next piece of paper. Okay, so I think what I wanted to do was for patatas bravas, I wanted to make a little bowl and make little potato shapes in it and then paint it to look like a little patatas bravas bowl. So we're going to make a bowl. To have it be a little bit like that. All right, and then we're going to make all of our little patatas bravas shapes. So first though, I'm going to write patatas bravas. So I'm curious if anybody has tried patatas bravas. Let me know in the comments. If you've been to Spain, if you have been to Barcelona, and I can't spell. See if it'll fit. Alright. So let's make little potato shapes. They're usually cut into kind of like triangular shapes, little wedges. I'm not too worried about what they really look like, because I'm going to just make them look really cute. Alright, so those are my little potato shapes. Now I'm going to take my paintbrush and just add a little bit of water in the potato area. And then I'm going to use this color yellow to start. We're going to kind of leave some white areas. I usually like to leave a little bit of white areas personally. I am not somebody who likes to fill the entire piece of watercolor paper. I prefer some white space. Alright, let's see. I think I have some brown. That color is not dark enough for me. Some orangey brown. I'm just adding a little bit this orangey color. And the thing about watercolor is that it's really all about layering. So like the very first layer, you know, is very flat. But as you let the layers dry and add darker colors on top of the lighter colors, it kind of gives it some definition. So I am going to use my pen here and write Patatas Bravas. And you know, my letters are not perfect, but that doesn't matter to me. I wanted to have a little bit more of a personal, authentic feel to my writing. My writing isn't perfect, so it's okay to me that my letters aren't exactly the same. All right, patatas bravas. And find a smaller paintbrush and get more of a brown color. And a little bit of this dark black. I'm just going to go in and add some shadows. All right, come on. Let's get some shadows in here. And get a little more of my yellow color. And just go back through and dot a little bit of it in there. You can even lift some of the darker pigment to make it lighter. So there was a lot of yellow, a lot of orange right here, and so I kind of lifted a little bit of it to make it a little bit lighter again. All right, I think I'm gonna go in and do my bowl. And I was kind of thinking I would give it kind of a little bit of like a bluish design, kind of like a star pattern. So I'm gonna use a little bit of blue. And I'm just gonna go in and start making stars on it. And it's going to spread out, and that's kind of what I want. I want it to be a really subtle star pattern. I'm going to outline it. In blue. I'm going to add a little bit of water here to spread this out a little. then we're going to give it a little bit of shadow underneath. And it doesn't have to be perfect, it's just a teeny tiny, very light, it's just black, very light shadow. Okay, now I think I want to create what's going to be the patatas bravas sauce. So I'm going to get a little red and a little of this orangey yellow color. So patatas bravas has a little bit of a spicy tomatoey sauce. It's got paprika in it, it's got oregano, it's got cayenne, it has garlic. It's very yummy. Alright, now we're just gonna make it look like it has sauce. These are my 2 recipe cards. I'm going to go back to this Calçots recipe card and bring in a little bit of this darker color to add a little bit more definition to these inner pieces. Just giving it a little more of a texture feel to it. I'm going to do a little more for these, for the sauce part. So the reason why we're in Lurelin Village for this video is because it's my favorite place to go when I want to cook things in Tears of the Kingdom. I just love Lurelin Village. I think it's just such a fun place to visit. Wish it was real. All right, so I'm pretty happy with those. I think they're pretty cute. So we have our calçots, which is a spring onion variety that you can find in Spain, specifically in the Catalonia area. And we have our recipe card for patatas bravas. And if you haven't tried patatas bravas, you should go look up some recipes and make your own. They're rather simple, pretty simple. It's basically just roasted potatoes, but you kind of want to roast them twice. You parboil them first, you roast them twice, and they come out with this super crispy outside, and on the inside it's just super soft, melt in your mouth potatoes. So super delicious. And calçots are often grilled on grills at specific restaurants that grill these calçots during the fall, and it's often at a restaurant that serves grilled meat as well. So I think these are really cute. I am going to add words on the back that describe calçotada and calçots, basically like a little bit of a recipe, and I am going to put a recipe of patatas bravas on the back along with the sauce that it's made with, and it's going to be a gift. So hope you enjoyed this little mini session of making little recipe cards. So patatas bravas and calçots and hanging out in Lurelin Village. Thanks for being here.